Babylon album?
Well, this really started about a year ago because I was listening to some of the leaders in the EU over in Brussels. They were talking about what they were calling a global financial crisis.
Hmm.
And I found that anytime politicians use the word crisis, it's usually an excuse to take the freedom away from people somehow, some way. So I'm listening to these men talk. And I heard one of them say that maybe they thought it was time for a one world government. And then I heard another one say, well, maybe it's now time for a one world currency, money.
Yeah.
And then the one that really got me was I heard one say they believed by the year 2017 that they could have all the people in Europe microchipped. You know what that means, right?
Yes, yes.
I mean, this is maybe the beginnings of 666, the Antichrist. I don't know. But this is a very, very scary thing. I went back and I did a very detailed study of the book of Revelation in the Bible. And I was astonished as to how accurate the prophecy in the Bible was in comparison to what these men were saying. And I thought to myself, do these men not really understand what they're saying? And I say that to say this, that 20 years ago when I wrote The Headless Children, there's a lyric in the song that says, 4 horsemen sit high up in the saddle and waiting, and ride the bloody trail and no return. And I listened to these men talk and I thought, this is 20 years later. Are we now closer to that potential Armageddon than we were then? And so I say that to say this to people, that to understand elections have consequences. And it doesn't matter where you live. All elections have consequences. And I think we believe sometimes that we as individuals have very little power, don't have much power. I believe, and I'm starting to see in America now, we have more power than we think we have. Because when enough people get together, I mean, the history of this country shows what can happen when enough people say enough. And, you know, we all have to take responsibility for ourselves, because if we do not take that responsibility will be taken from us. And so it's very, very important that we as individuals exercise that freedom. And I really believe that. And like I said, with what I see going on in the United States right now, I'm very, very encouraged by that. 3 weeks ago in Washington, D.C., 100,000 people gathered in front of the White House to protest Obama. I never thought I would see anything like that in my lifetime. And it's fantastic to see what people can do when enough people come together and create one voice. It's terrific.
By the way, today is the day of elections here in Moscow. You probably
I know.
that.
I know.
So it's kind of symbolic.
Well, it's funny because when we were here 2 years ago, the elections were like 1 week away, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember when you were celebrating
Yeah.
Prince Night.
Yeah.
To remember that.
It's like perfect timing every time we come here. I should run for office.
How do you think the things have changed since you wrote the songs "I Want to Be Somebody" or stuff like that? I mean, for young people and for the whole planet, for your character of the song, for yourself.
Well, you know, I don't know. The one thing I do know is that art, real art, whether it's music or movies or paintings, all art is designed to make you think. And that's really what we're trying to do with the music, is trying to get people to think about themselves, think about the world that they live in, think about who they are, how does it work for their lives. Really think about, and I mean really think about who you are. And if these records that we make can do that, then to me it's been successful, because I discovered just 2 or 3 years ago that I kept writing the same song over and over and over again. And it started with the first album, I Want to Be Somebody.
In the lyrics wise.
Yeah. And I didn't realize I kept asking that question on every album. And I only realized it just a couple of years ago. You know, so it's interesting. You know, I was asking that question then. I'm still asking that question now. And I don't think it's just me. I think it's everybody who listens to it. I think that's what, you know, we're all on that journey in life. And we're all trying to figure out where we're going.
Who's your favorite songwriter lyrics-wise?
I'm sorry, Sid?
Who's your favorite songwriter lyrics-wise?
Ooh.
Well, I suppose Roger Daltrey, something like that.
Well, Pete Townsend writes all the lyrics for The Who, but I would say, I think, for me, the best lyricist is Bruce Springsteen. I don't think a lot of people think about him as a lyricist. I think they'd say probably Bob Dylan or somebody like that, but I think Springsteen is better than Dylan, for me.
Thank you much. I'm afraid our time is running out. Thank you very much.
We have a show to do.
Could you please introduce
Sure.
yourself to our viewers? The channel is actually called One Rock.
One Rock?
One Rock.
Hi there, this is the one and only Blackie Lawless from WASP, and you're watching One Rock.